The Paris Agreement, which enables countries to set targets to cut their emissions by 2030, comes along with a set of rules. And the final bit of that rule book to be discussed here in Glasgow is called Article 6. So first of all, what is Article 6? It's a set of rules that tells countries how they can collaborate and potentially increase their overall effort to cut emissions. For example, a country that exceeds its emissions cut target could potentially offer those excess emissions to another country, or there might be a central pool of emissions cuts that countries and private companies can buy into. These excess emissions cuts could come from replacing fossil fuels with renewables, or from restoring natural habitats like forests or peatlands. So what's being discussed here in Glasgow? Well, because we want to keep temperature rises to 1.5 degrees, every single bit of emissions cuts matters. However, observers of Article 6 will be interested in several different elements. First of all, the old emissions cuts that are no longer generating any benefit to the climate aren't going to be transferred or allowed into this new system and potentially undermine climate action. Secondly, that rules are put in place that protect human rights from land grabs and protect natural habitats from being replaced with plantations, for example, that could be damaging. Thirdly, that developing countries are allowed a share of the proceeds or the profits from the sale of emissions cuts that might be generated. And fourthly, that two countries can't count the same emissions cut twice over, thereby creating a false impression of the overall benefit to the climate. The discussions on Article 6 here in Glasgow have only just got underway. We've previously seen developed countries be resistant to the share of proceeds going towards developing countries to help them adapt to the effects of climate change, and we've previously seen countries like Brazil, India and China be resistant to rules that would prevent a reduction in the overall effort to cut emissions. But we did in recent weeks potentially see Brazil slightly soften its position. These negotiations on this element of the Paris Agreement could take until the end of the fortnight to be concluded.